conference finals for the NHL playoffs. So, quick look at the bracket. We have the Avalanche versus the Oilers and the Lightning versus the Rangers. So, actually, let's go back to that. My predictions, I believe, was Avalanche, Oilers, Hurricanes, Panthers. So I'm 2 for 2 on this one, or 2 for 4 on this one. And I guess let's just get started with the series that ended first, the Lightning versus the Panthers. That was a very, very strange series. You had the Panthers, who were the, President's Trophy team, the highest scoring team in the regular season. And even through the playoffs, they had been scoring a lot of goals. And against the Maple Leafs, the Lightning, and specifically Vasilevsky, looked pretty human. And then the second round, they just kind of started to look less and less human and more like the Lightning did. And it was just a weird energy from the Panthers, and it felt like some of the big name players, they just weren't really engaged. They were super passive, and the entire series, it kind of felt like the Lightning were dictating the pace of play. As you can see, the Panthers scored 3 goals through 4 games, which is just stunning for a team that scored that much in the regular season. They only scored 3 goals through 4 games. And, the series has been done for like a week now. Well, I've been waiting for other things to finish up. Vasilevsky, just a monster. But, it was just not what you want to see. And Huberdeau felt like he was playing just extremely passively. All their big name guys on the Panthers just kind of felt like they weren't really trying. Like, for them, they got the President's Trophy, so they were good. They were chilling, which that's not. You can't have that sort of attitude, especially not at that level. So, I thought there was a decent chance the Lightning could win this. Obviously, they're the 2-time defending champions, and I just did not expect it to be a sweep, and I did not expect the Lightning, or the Panthers rather, to look that bad and that disinterested. Kind of shocking to me. It was just a complete rout of the Panthers, and I just don't know where the Panthers go from here either. It's like this is their best season probably in franchise history. They win the President's Trophy, second round of the playoffs, and then you get swept. So I don't know, do they just run it back? Can they even run it back? Can they afford to? I don't know. I don't know if they have the money paid for some of the moves they made or whatever, but it'll be interesting to see what the Panthers do going forward, because, I don't know. This might have been a make it or break it series for them, and we'll see if they come back or not. Then we'll go to the other one here. Just go. Oh, I realize. Hold on, let me switch. So, the Colorado Avalanche versus the St. Louis Blues. I actually predicted a Colorado sweep here. They still do get the win, but the Blues put up a lot more of a fight than I was expecting them to, I have to admit. Let's switch over here, okay. Definitely one of the big stories of this series is going to be Binnington for the Blues. Binnington has kind of been a lightning rod of criticism against the St. Louis Blues for quite a while now. And he was, again, he kind of became the center of attention towards the end of this series, as you can see up there. It did go 6, and this St. Louis game here, the 4-1 win in Game 2, definitely made my ears kind of perk up a little bit and think that maybe they could get something going, but it just didn't end up materializing. And then obviously the Nazem Kadri stuff that happened in this series. The series just had like a surprising amount of drama in it. It had a surprising amount of drama in it for really how drama-free the scoreboard here went. Those first 2 games were tight, but then Colorado blowing the lid off, St. Louis steals in overtime, but then Colorado wins by 1 in that Game 6 to win the series. Setting up I'll get to that in a second. I realize I'm doing this in a weird manner. Now, let's go to Edmonton versus Calgary. Now, this was a series that I said could go either way. I think I said this was a legit, 50-50 coin flip. And then I flipped a coin, and that coin determined that my pick was the Edmonton Oilers. So, I did technically pick the Oilers to win this series, and they did. I wasn't expecting them to be winning it in this fashion, though. A bizarre game, a bizarre series, especially after the way Game 1 went. So, let's switch over here. Game 1. Game 1, you had 15 combined goals. Calgary 9, Edmonton 6. That first game was absolutely insanity. And at that point, I was kind of thinking okay, I think the Flames might pull this out. I just felt like if this was going to be a shootout, then okay, maybe the Flames can win the shootout. But then it was literally Edmonton for 4 straight at that point. 4 straight for Edmonton. And I know there was some controversy around that kicked goal in Game 5. In my personal opinion, I don't think that was a kick. But I also don't think that if Calgary did win that game, that the series would be any different. A lot of people brought up the Chandler Stevenson kicking motion goal from earlier this season. And as somebody who defended that as a good goal. He did far more of a kicking motion than, who was the Calgary player? I can't remember who it was, but then the Calgary player did on his goal. So if one's a goal, they both have to be a goal, in my opinion. But again, I don't think it swayed the outcome of the series. And like I said, I am going to Calgary for an extended vacation in July. So even though they lost, I'm still kind of excited to see just like all the team stuff around the city, because I'm assuming there's still going to be a lot of flame stuff everywhere, and maybe I'll see some good Battle of Alberta shirts I can try and share with you guys if I can find them. But yeah, just a crazy series that did not go the way I predicted. And what's crazy is right now, Evander Kane is leading the Oilers in goals for the playoffs. Evander Kane, the guy who they picked up basically for nothing, who has had all this controversy, but Evander Kane is like, he's just scoring at a crazy, crazy clip for them. It's pretty absurd. Okay, finally. Rangers versus Hurricanes. I predicted Hurricanes, but wow, I mean, I'm talking about the Hurricanes here. Talk about a hot and cold team. Their home and away record was like a meme, kind of. Like they were so bad on the road compared to at home. It was like basically two different teams. But in New York's case, I mean, the big difference was in goal. The Rangers have an insane goalie, and I think that's going to make an interesting matchup between them and the Lightning, because you have two really good goalies going against each other. We have two really good rosters in general, and what Gerard Gallant has done with this Rangers team is actually pretty impressive. Gerard Gallant has done a very impressive coaching job with this Rangers team and just gotten like a full team effort out of them. But I think people are going to be like asking questions about what happened to this Hurricanes team for a long time, because they just kind of shrunk. They just kind of shriveled up and disappeared at a point, and it was weird. Their special teams was really bad. Their penalty kill and power play were not acceptable. And then I think at one point Seth Jarvis goes out hurt, my favorite player on the Canes, former Winterhawk, and yeah, just bad news. And those top line guys in Carolina, they have a lot of things to answer for sure, because they just sort of disappeared, sort of like the Florida Panthers guys did. And it's weird having multiple teams in the playoffs here where big name guys are just disappearing on the biggest stage. But okay, what do I think is going to happen here? What do I think is going to happen here? Well, Avalanche versus Oilers is actually ongoing right now, so I can cheat a little bit, and I'm going to go off on a very thin branch and say that the Avalanche are going to take Game 1. If I had to guess, Avalanche are taking Game 1, and my prediction is that the Avalanche will take the series maybe in 6. And I've gotten some criticism that I keep picking against the Oilers. Okay, here's the thing. as long as I have been a fan of hockey, the Edmonton Oilers have been known for underperforming, and the entire narrative around the Oilers has been that they're failing Connor McDavid. Connor McDavid can't win with this team. They're never going to get out of that has been the entire narrative around the team. It's kind of like the narrative that was around Ovechkin before he finally got his cup. And McDavid's young, and there's a lot of people, it's like, oh, he's going to demand a trade, da-da-da-da-da. That's been the entire narrative around the Oilers since I became a fan in 2014, to the point that, the Oilers fans themselves, if you went to the Edmonton Oilers subreddit, they lean into that meme. So I've only ever understood them as jokers and underperformers, one-line team, yada 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 yada. So I have that coloring my perception. Plus, I also think that they do not have a good enough goalie. Smith has been making some big saves, he's had some big moments, but at the end of the day, he's still an older, mostly career backup goalie that is taking them through the playoffs. And at some point, I'm expecting there to be a straw that breaks that camel's back, because you can only overperform for so long before you regress to the mean. So that's kind of why I keep picking against the Oilers, and I'm not 100% convinced that they can go all the way. I know people oh, McDavid, Draisaitl. It's yes, I get it. But my prediction is Avalanche in 6. Avalanche in 6. Now, Tampa Bay versus the Rangers. This is a hard one for me to predict, because the Rangers have gone to 7 against both opponents, even against the Penguins, who they probably should not have gone to 7 against. Now, Toronto took the Lightning to 7, showing that Toronto is actually probably a lot better, and if they were playing any other team except for the Lightning, they probably would have won the series. But then the Lightning swept the President's Trophy winners. So then it kind of gets tricky, because I feel like the Lightning are really hard for me to judge right now. Do I just pin it all on Florida underperforming, or was it Tampa Bay dominating, or some combination? I don't have an answer to that question. But I have to go with my gut. Rangers in 7. That's my gut feeling, and you can hear my stomach growling right now. Rangers in 7. So I'm predicting Colorado Avalanche versus the New York Rangers in the Stanley Cup final. That's my prediction. Real fast, before I wrap the video, let's check back in on the Oilers and the Avalanche. And in the 2 minutes since I've been recording this, the Avalanche have scored another goal. You know what? I'm going to amend my statement. Avalanche in 4. Avalanche sweep. You can't give up 6 goals in the Western Conference Final in 2 periods. You cannot do that. Whatever. Anyways. Avalanche. Rangers. That's my prediction. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys agree or disagree. What do you think is going to happen in these series? I'd love to hear any and all feedback. just keep it civil. There's been a few times where things get off the rails a little bit. This is mainly for relaxation. I'm not a sports analyst. It's alright. We can have opinions. Okay. If you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this every single day. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.